Some people think they can scatter thorns in your path and walk away untouched, but life has a habit of circling back, turning every thorn they threw into a crown that fits only you. The balance of existence never misses its mark. Every hidden motive, every whispered scheme, every masked smile eventually folds beneath the weight of its own intent. That's the quiet precision of cosmic balance. It doesn't rush, it recalibrates, it teaches with consequences. Critics, doubters, and those who secretly cheer for your downfall never realize they're playing against a system that cannot lose. The same energy they spend trying to block your rise becomes the fuel that propels it. Their resistance sharpens you, refines your vision, and forces your evolution. You were never the underdog. They were just volunteering to become the examples. Remember this: the universe doesn't punish or reward, it mirrors. Those who move with deceit will one day face the reflections of their own shadows. And you, the chosen one in the making, carry a frequency that unsettles every pretender. Your presence haunts their comfort, not because you seek revenge, but because your growth reminds them of what they abandoned. The irony: their attempts to bury you became the groundwork for your foundation. What they built to break you, life reassembled to crown you. You were never fighting against them, you were being shaped by them. This is your ascension arc, your era of quiet dominance. Like and subscribe, because this energy isn't luck, it's alignment. They're starting to realize it. Their schemes are collapsing under the weight of your rise. Every lie, every attempt to block your path is turning into proof of who you really are. What's coming next isn't luck, it's justice disguised as elevation. So, before we go deeper into this revelation, take a second to lock in your energy. Hit that like button, subscribe, and drop the number 999 in the comments if you can feel that shift already happening inside you. That number signals alignment. It marks you as one of the awakened, one of the few who see the pattern behind the chaos. Because what's about to unfold isn't just another story, it's your confirmation. Stay until the end, chosen one, because tonight you'll witness exactly how those who went against your light are finding out the hard way. Number 1. When darkness moves first, let heaven strike harder. They called it kindness. They said you were too good, too forgiving, too soft. What they never understood was that your gentleness wasn't weakness. It was strategy written into your very nature. You were designed to neutralize chaos without raising your voice, to dismantle manipulation without lifting a weapon. Every time you helped someone who would never return the favor, you were demonstrating power disguised as empathy. When others reached for gossip, you reached for understanding. When tension filled the room, your calm wasn't passive, it was commanding. You weren't just keeping the peace, you were training the atmosphere to obey your energy. From the outside, it looked like compassion, but underneath, it was precision. You didn't react, you recalibrated. Your responses have always been deliberate, even when you didn't realize it. The balance you carried unsettled people who thrived on chaos. They couldn't define you, so they labeled you naive. They couldn't manipulate you, so they tried to convince the world that you were weak. What they didn't know was that every move you made was part of a greater pattern, the unseen architecture of purpose shaping your evolution. The ones studying you never expected to be the lesson. They watched your patience, mistook it for fear. They tested your boundaries, assuming you'd break. But your silence wasn't surrender, it was observation. You let them reveal themselves, knowing life would handle what you didn't have to confront directly. They called meetings, formed alliances, whispered doubts into the ears of those who once admired you. They crafted stories so polished they almost believed them themselves. Yet the energy behind their lies began to crumble the very foundations they stood on. Because while they plotted in secret, you were aligning in clarity. Some people don't envy what you have. They envy who you are when everything falls apart. They saw your composure as arrogance, never realizing it was discipline earned through storms they couldn't have survived. They mistook your peace for privilege, not knowing it was purchased through pain. The more they tried to expose you, the more they revealed themselves. And with every attack, the universe kept rearranging circumstances to favor you, not as a reward, but as a reflection of balance reasserting itself. They'll never admit it out loud, but they've started to feel it, the quiet reversal. The way things that once worked in their favor now misfire. The plans they built on your downfall collapsing with mathematical precision. You didn't curse them. You didn't even speak against them. You just kept moving, and movement itself became your revenge. Your growth became a haunting, your success a mirror too bright for them to look into. And that's the irony. They set out to prove you were ordinary. Instead, they confirmed you were chosen. What they meant for embarrassment became your elevation. What they called manipulation became your motivation. They wanted you to break character. Instead, you became the character life built stories around. They thought they were erasing your name. They were engraving it deeper. Number 2. Stop apologizing for the light that exposes their shadows. They want you to shrink, dim your light just enough so their insecurities don't feel exposed. They say you've changed, that you've become distant or cold. But what really happened is that your growth made them confront the parts of themselves they've been hiding. Your presence became a mirror, and not everyone is ready to see their reflection without filters. The truth is, some people don't dislike you. They dislike how honest they feel around you. You've spent too long apologizing for being the one who sees too deeply, feels too strongly, moves too differently. Every time you made yourself smaller to protect their comfort, you betrayed your own purpose. You weren't meant to blend in. You were built to awaken. Your energy doesn't just enter a room, it rearranges it. And those who operate from illusion can't survive in the light you bring. That's why they label you too intense, too direct, or too much. It's easier for them to name you a problem than to face what you reveal. But here's what they're learning the hard way. When they tried to dim your brilliance, the universe turned up your glow. When they tried to bury your name, life engraved it deeper. You are not a threat. They are simply allergic to authenticity. The more they tried to silence your truth, the louder your results became. That's not arrogance. That's alignment. So stop apologizing for evolving past their understanding. You were never meant to make darkness comfortable. You were meant to expose it. Let them whisper. Let them twist the narrative. It doesn't matter, because the same light they mocked will soon be the only thing left when their shadows fade. That's what happens when you stop hiding and let your purpose burn at full brightness. Number 3. Kindness isn't weakness. It's a silent weapon of mass awakening. They thought your kindness made you predictable, easy to manipulate, easy to use. They saw your compassion and assumed it came from fear, not strength. But they've started to learn the hard way. Kindness is not submission. It's control. It's the ability to stay composed in storms that would destroy anyone else. While they screamed for attention, you stayed silent and built empires in the background. While they plotted, you observed. While they fought for position, you elevated without noise. Your kindness has never been softness. It's precision. It disarms chaos without confrontation. It dissolves manipulation without resistance. You've mastered the rarest form of power, emotional intelligence disguised as empathy. You can walk into a room and shift its entire vibration without saying a word. And those who tried to exploit that energy are now realizing that when they underestimated your heart, they miscalculated the battlefield. They mistook your mercy for weakness, but mercy is a privilege only the powerful can afford. You were never being taken advantage of. You were collecting data. Every betrayal, every deceitful smile, every backhanded compliment was a lesson quietly recorded in your archives. And when the moment came, life itself used that information to deliver consequences none of them saw coming. Kindness doesn't make you naive, it makes you untouchable, because when your motives are clean, the universe itself becomes your shield. People can throw shade, lies, or chaos, but nothing truly sticks. You can't be defeated by tactics built on the very energy you refuse to use. They wanted to provoke a reaction. Instead, they triggered your awakening. They thought you'd break. You became unbreakable. They thought they were playing you. Turns out, they were teaching you. And now, the lesson has become their reckoning. Number 4. Don't confuse jealousy for friendship. Snakes hiss in compliments. They don't come at you hissing anymore. They come smiling. They come disguised as supporters, disguised as friends who claim to want the best for you. But watch closely. Jealousy rarely wears fangs anymore. It wears flattery. The compliments are rehearsed, the concern too calculated. They study your moves not to learn, but to look for cracks. You can almost feel it. The way their energy shifts the moment your name is mentioned in a room that doesn't include them. That's how jealousy operates now, subtle, strategic, poisonous through charm. They'll cheer for you in public just to mask the bitterness that eats at them in private. Their laughter is the camouflage, the envy is the agenda. But here's the twist. They think they're hiding it. They think their performance is flawless. What they don't realize is that the chosen ones can feel vibration before words even form. You don't need proof. Their presence tells on them long before their mouths do. Jealousy is a mirror that cracks the moment you step in front of it. Your growth exposes everything they've tried to suppress within themselves. They see your calm as competition, your progress as provocation. Every win you achieve shines a light on the corners of their own inaction. They start to resent your reflection because it reminds them of their own neglected potential. But here's the poetic justice. Jealousy always self-destructs. The more they try to mimic your energy, the more obvious their lack becomes. Their imitation drains them. Your authenticity refuels you. Eventually, their envy collapses under its own performance, and when it does, they'll remember the one truth they refused to accept. You were never their rival, you were their reminder. Snakes hiss in compliments, but chosen ones. They hear the venom long before the applause. Number 5. What they call drama is really a demon losing territory. They'll say you're dramatic. They'll roll their eyes, act unbothered, and whisper that you overreact to everything. But what they call drama is actually the sound of their control collapsing. When a chosen one steps into awareness, every manipulator, every liar, every masked friend starts to lose ground. And they feel it like static in their bones. They sense your calm slipping out of their grip, and they panic. They can't feed off your confusion anymore, can't twist your words into weapons, so they label your truth as chaos because it's the only language they understand. You're not in conflict, you're creating correction. You're reclaiming space that was never theirs to occupy. The energy that once bent to please others now resists distortion. And to those who thrive on dysfunction, that resistance feels like war. You've stopped explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You've stopped apologizing for the clarity that exposes their game. That silence they mock. It's strategy. Because every time you refuse to engage, they lose another piece of influence. The irony is, their own narrative will consume them. The lies they told to look innocent will start to turn on them, revealing cracks they can't repair. People are beginning to see who's really feeding the fire. The attention they used to command with gossip now recoils from them. What looked like drama was never yours. It was their mask slipping. So let them talk. Let them act unbothered while their foundation trembles. You don't have to defend your peace. It's defending itself. You are not the storm. They are the ones being shaken by the calm they can no longer manipulate. And in that realization, they're finally learning the truth. When an earth angel stops participating in chaos, darkness loses its stage. Number 6. Never swing back. Let divine law deliver the hit they deserve. You were raised to think retaliation is strength. They trained you to believe that only an equal blow proves you mattered. That's the trap. Real power doesn't scramble to match spite with spite. It sits still and lets the architecture of consequence do the work. You don't have to fight on the low ground where grudges live. You were built to operate on a different level: precision, calm, and inevitability. When people lob lies, sabotage plans, or plant traps, they're investing energy in a future they assume they'll control. What they don't understand is that every conscious act writes entries into an invisible ledger. Intent compounds, strategy backfires. Their schemes return with interest, not because you willed it, but because the system of balance rewrites outcomes to match the original input. You standing still is the most efficient form of retaliation. It forces their actions to confront their own design. Imagine a mirror that doesn't reflect faces, but motives. They look into it and see the exact pattern they sent into the world. Manipulation fractured into exposure, cruelty morphing into isolation, the resources they diverted spiraling back to owners who deserve them. Their network frays, their excuses become the evidence, and doors they propped open for themselves begin to close at the same precise angle they once opened them. This isn't passive surrender, it's strategic conservation. Every word you don't throw away, every reaction you withhold, becomes a force multiplier for your ascent. Let them exhaust themselves. Let their momentum carry them into their own undoing. You keep building, creating, refining, and the universe, guided by its own uncompromising metrics, will neutralize what was meant to derail you. You are the chosen one who refuses the petty duel. Your silence is not submission, it is deployment. Watch them collide with the consequences they engineered. While they learn the hard way, you rise with unshakable momentum. Number 7. You're not under attack. You're being revealed as the threat. They think they're attacking you, but what they've really done is expose how dangerous your peace truly is. You were never the victim in this equation. You were the variable they couldn't predict. Every move they made against you only highlighted how much influence you quietly held. They wanted to test your limits, to make you react, to drag you down into the chaos where they feel powerful. But instead, your composure became their unraveling. You didn't fight back with noise, you fought back with evolution. And nothing terrifies a manipulator more than the person who grows stronger through the damage they caused. The truth is, you've never been under siege. You've been studied. Every rumor, every betrayal, every attempt to twist your truth was really them trying to decode what makes you untouchable. Their curiosity turned into obsession because they couldn't understand how you kept rising from traps designed to bury you. What they didn't realize is that your calm isn't compliance, it's calibration. You operate on a frequency that their chaos can't penetrate. Your silence is the storm they can't predict, and that unpredictability is power. Now the mirror has flipped. They're feeling the pressure they tried to put on you. Their own tactics are backfiring. Their alliances are dissolving, and the same energy they once mocked you for is now haunting them. Because the moment they tried to make you their enemy, life itself started revealing who the real threat always was. You've become the consequence wrapped in calm, the reflection they can't run from. You were never prey, they just mistook patience for weakness. Now they know the truth. You don't chase revenge, you embody reckoning. And when reckoning wears your face, there's nowhere left for darkness to hide. Number 8. Stay silent long enough for their lies to hang themselves. They can't hide forever. The louder their lies get, the more the silence surrounding you exposes the truth. You've learned that not every battle deserves your voice. Some wars are won through patience, through letting time pull the masks off. While they scramble to maintain their stories, life is already editing their script, removing their illusions line by line. You don't need to confront them. Their own words are becoming the evidence. Staying silent isn't weakness, it's precision. Every time you choose not to respond, you give their deception space to echo back at them. People start noticing the inconsistencies, the exaggerated emotions, the desperate attempts to justify the unjustifiable. You're not losing ground. You're watching gravity do its work. Truth doesn't chase, it waits. And when it arrives, it hits harder than any defense you could have spoken.